Help is at hand. Welcome back to the show. If you are suffering from allergies right now, stick around. Allergies, we know, are more than just seasonal sneezing. They are reactions that can range from mild discomfort to life-threatening situations. And we're going to unravel, if you will, the mysteries of allergies and understanding their symptoms, the common triggers, and most importantly, the treatment, the management. We're going to get some insights with pharmacist and good friend of the show, Maimin. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. I think whether you're seeking insights into managing your own system or aiming to expand your knowledge on this topic, please join us. And in fact, you can weigh in online with any tips. Jackie, busy time of the year, and I'm sorry, I understand you are an allergy sufferer yourself.
I am.
This hits home, and it can be debilitating because it just doesn't go away. So maybe a good place to start is with understanding what's actually happening within the body. What is an allergy? Why does it prompt such an extreme reaction from our body?
Absolutely. So an allergy is actually when your immune system is prompted by a completely innocuous substance, and it mounts an immune response. So we get these antibodies forming, which then causes a huge release of histamine. So it's an inappropriate response. I mean, we've all got very good immune systems, and it's there to protect us against things like bacteria and viruses. But unfortunately, sometimes it identifies what we call a trigger or an allergen, which is a normal substance like a pollen or a...
It can't actually hurt you. The body is hurting you because it's misreading the signs and the signals. That's really interesting to look at it from that, because that says that we can find a relatively simple solution looking at that gateway. How are allergies diagnosed? Because it could be a flu. There are so many kind of overlaps here with other conditions. How do we know, okay, it's an allergy?
Okay. So I think the majority of allergies are actually diagnosed according to their symptoms. So if you've got a cold or a flu, it has a sudden onset. Very often there's a fever.
And you feel it.
Yes,
you feel it throughout your body.
Aches and pains and what have you. Whereas an allergy, there isn't usually a fever. So most of them we identify by the symptoms. But you can go further, you know, especially with some of the more life-threatening types of allergies. There are different tests that you can do to actually diagnose it, from skin prick tests, blood tests, to provocation tests as well. And
it's worth knowing I have a shellfish allergy, which I discovered quite late in life as well, which was quite interesting to me. But it just really does mean you've got to be conscious of this. So if you are nervous in any way, get tested, find out exactly what's going on. If this is something that's going to repeatedly happen, we know our bodies now, every year we're going to the season, how important is it having an action plan to approach this time of the year? Because you want to be preemptive if you can, and what does that look like?
Okay. So you get something called an allergy action plan.
Brilliant.
So not everybody has it. I think, you know, people that suffer just from normal hay fever, you probably haven't got one. But it becomes extremely important with those people that have the huge reactions. So the anaphylaxis, angioedema, and for children. I think it's very important for children, especially with food allergies, because you can give an allergy action plan to their teacher or their carer. And it starts off with what are the triggers, what are the symptoms, and then, of course, what's most important, what to do when it happens.
When we look at treating the majority of allergies out there, what is the go-to? You mentioned histamines. We want to essentially reverse that process. How do we do that?
Absolutely. So as I said, an allergic reaction, you get this huge release of histamine, which sets off all the symptoms.
And it's crazy how quickly. With me, 15 minutes, I looked like an alien. I literally, my whole skin, every ounce of my skin was covered in welts. Less than 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Absolutely. And it can be even quicker. With a bee sting, it can be seconds, minutes.
Sure.
So, yes, what you need to do is we need to block that histamine. And, of course, antihistamine. Exactly. So antihistamines block the effects of the histamine. So that's our go-to one, is an antihistamine. But obviously there are a range of other products, from over-the-counter like a corticosteroid nasal spray, mast cell stabilizers, and then of course you get the people that need to be treated with the more severe allergies. You get your prescription medicines like your steroids, and even adrenaline for those that suffer with anaphylactic.
For sure, yeah. And until you've had one of those needles shoved into you, it's quite a life-changing experience in itself. Are there ways that we can offset this with diet, with how we live, the health elements, our environment, those sorts of things? How much control do we actually have in that space?
So we actually do have quite a bit of control. So if it's a food allergy, like yourself, avoid shellfish.
Just write it off the equation, yeah.
So, I mean, it's easy at home. Don't have shellfish. But if you go out, always ask, is there shellfish in this? Simple things like a sauce. You never know when somebody's boiled mussels. Absolutely. So always be aware of what your triggers are. If it is something like hay fever, pollen, then go online and find out the days that there's a high pollen count.
And there's pollencount.co.za. There are amazing resources.
Exactly. So check out the pollen count. On days where it's high, try and stay indoors. Close your windows.
Work from home, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Have an aircon system. So there are lots of things that you can do for the triggers.
All of it speaks to being proactive. I love the notion of an action plan. I think anyone who suffers from severe allergies, having that allergy action plan is an absolute essential. And if you've got any questions, just talk to your pharmacist. I'm going to say thank you to Ian, my pharmacist at Noyes, who walked the path with me yesterday. I love you. To all of those pharmacists out there, thank you. They are ready and available to give you sound advice. And our pharmacists are pillars of our community. They've proven that over the last couple of years. And with September being actually Pharmacy Month, I think we need to take an added opportunity to acknowledge and thank all of you pharmacists for the contribution that you've made to our families, to our communities. You really have been on the front line. Now, I want you to imagine this. Your allergy symptoms hit just as you're about to go into a big presentation. I have been there. What do you do? Reply to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter, or our Instagram page and give us a great answer, and it could just win you 5,000 Rand this week. That's a whopper. Don't forget to hashtag ALLERGEXND in your answer, and you don't have a huge amount of time. The competition closes Monday, the 11th. That's this coming Monday at midnight, and we're going to get a lot of entries for this one, I have a feeling, so go and check out those T's and C's on expressoshow.com. Jackie, on behalf of our side of the fence, to you and all of the pharmacists that have been supporting us, thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you guys.
We've been long in the game, healing South Africa one allergy at a time. All the sneezing, runny nose, itching of nose and throat, we've left no stone unturned. Until finally, South Africa recognized us. You've given us the courage to continue to do what we do best. Live, work, play, sleep allergy-free with ALLERGEX Non-Drowsy. Ask your pharmacist for the full allergy range. Brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.